Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We have a special guest here today, one of the newer additions to the coaching staff here at West Liberty University. So I would like to introduce Coach Jason Falvo, who was named our head men and women's cross country and track coach back when?
July 15th maybe, and then officially in August, I think.
It was. He was the interim coach. Longtime head coach Justin Simpson elected step aside from the sport, and Coach Falvo was the assistant coach. Served in the interim role until we get through all the interview process because we have to jump through those hoops, but just a great addition. So, Coach, just give us quick thoughts that you've been in the permanent job now for a couple months.
Sure. Yeah, it's been a great transition. Been really appreciative of the support that I've gotten through the department and our team. It's been great. The kids have adjusted well. We're in a good spot coming up to our first meet here, but it's been a wonderful transition for sure.
Give the viewers who may not know quite your background, tell us what led you to West Liberty. Where were you previously? When did you come to West Liberty? Just kind of fill everyone in.
Yeah, sure. So I started coaching in 1999, a couple years ago, in football. Went through a graduate assistantship, ended up at Waynesburg University in 2003 as a football coach. 2004, we started track at that school. I was able to be the head coach there for 14 years till 2017. Transitioned out of there, spent a little bit of time in two other spots, and then as COVID hit, I was in the Philadelphia area at a Division III school, Eastern University, coming off our first indoor championship, and was a move for me to come back home and be in this area during that time. And fortunately, Coach Simpson had a spot for me and was able to join the staff, and it's been great ever since.
Well, you've done a great job, hence that's why you're now the head coach.
Thank you.
One of the normal questions that we would ask in this type of setting, how have you adjusted from going from the assistant to the head coach? But you have many, many years of head coaching experience,
Yes.
But any different challenges or adjustments that you've made?
Sure. Yeah, great question. I think the hardest transition was being the assistant for 3 years and then not being the head coach and switching back. So switching back has been great. Coach Simpson did a great job here. He really did. He laid a foundation of a program that really wasn't in a good spot when he took over and really built us to where we are today. So thankful to him. So the transition has been really easy to get back in. And like anybody, and you know this, you coach for a long time, you want to put your imprint on the program and some things that you would like to do. So we're doing that, but it's been great, very smooth in the whole process. And again, a credit to what Coach Simpson did, a credit to what we have here administratively, and truly our athletes. I could brag about our athletes for days. They are some of the most high character, just wonderful people in our program. So they've handled this amazingly and made it really easy transition for me. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a little bit sleepless nights in the beginning as you get settled in, but we feel like we're in a really good spot as we move into the season here.
Well, one of the things you talked about, every head coach wants to put their stamp on it. We all have philosophical differences, so every person, when they go from the head coach or the assistant coach to the head coach, they're going to do things a little bit differently. So when you answer this is not a criticism of Coach Simpson.
Sure.
He did a great job, but just give us an example of one or two things that is going to be your stamp.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm trying to incorporate is just a little bit more time where we're all three facets of our program are together. Distance trains in a certain way with all the mileage that they do, and they're really on their own in a lot of aspects, and throws are kind of up over the way and they're out of the way, and then obviously sprints and turtles are on the track. So we've really tried to incorporate a couple periods of time during the week where we're together. And right now that's been on Tuesday. Everybody's been at the track at the same time, and it's a little bit of controlled chaos out there with everybody there, all 80 of us out there. And I think our kids our athletes, I guess shouldn't say kids, but our athletes have really enjoyed the fact to see everybody grind a little bit together. So when we go to a meet, we kind of know who everybody is, and you build that team or family dynamic the best you can with the roster size that we have. So that's something that we'll continue to grow upon, but I'm pretty adamant about getting us together as a whole.
Well, here's one thing that makes this sport unique. When I say unique, there's only a couple like it. Maybe the only other one actually like it being football.
Yeah.
Most people growing up playing team sports, even if they played football, they may have had 40 or 50 teammates.
Yep.
All the people that are in high school baseball or basketball or whatever, it's anywhere between 10, 12, 15, 20, 25. I don't think anybody understands what it's like to be on a roster of 80 to 100 people.
Sure.
And I used to laugh even in football where guys on the offense, they know everybody by face.
Right.
But they actually didn't know some of the names. And me, being a basketball coach, I'm like, how could one person not know a teammate's name?
Right.
Do you run into that in track?
Yeah, we run into it a little bit. I think especially in the early part of the fall when we're just starting to get going in training, I think there's a little bit of like, who's that? And you're cheering for somebody or encouraging them as they go by, but you really don't know who they are. And then over the process of the year, you eventually learn everybody's name. And I think some of the efforts that we made to put the team a little bit more together has really aided in that for sure.
So let's take a quick moment here. Let's talk about you as a head coach building your staff.
Yeah.
So let's quickly go over, tell us who is on staff with you.
Yeah, we in the transition, obviously me moving up created a position where they had to fill the position that I previously had. So we hired Michael Gwynn. Mike's a 16, 17-year veteran distance coach. Spent a little bit of his time at Bethany for 11 years. Local guy, really entrenched in the West Virginia sports community, which is important for us in the recruiting aspect, and has done a wonderful job with our cross-country and distance program. And we had great success this year in cross-country. He's done a phenomenal job. Then we have our graduate assistant, Antonella Crisioli. Antonella's a throws coach, spent part of her career in the Miami, Florida area, and then finished her career at Iowa State in the throws program. Was a national award winner in the hammer toss, and she has really done a great job. Her attention to detail with the throwers and the technical aspect of it has been phenomenal for us. She's young. She's learning. She has all the little young learning things that she's growing into, but she's really done a nice job. And then for pole vault, we have Danielle Stewart, who handles our pole vault program. Danielle, this is her, I guess, her second year with us, third year with us, might be her third year with us. And she exclusively handles pole vault. And as you know, we're pretty successful in pole vault right now. Reese is doing a great job, and the others. She had her athletic career, a little bit of time at Notre Dame College in Ohio. Finished at we won't say the school down the hill, Wheeling, that we don't like. Just kidding. But she was an All-American pole vaulter for them. Has done a really good job. And then we do have a little bit of student help. Michaela Rollins will be around for a little student help this year. It's doing really well. So.
Well, it sounds like you're getting it where you want to get it. You're coming off, and before I move on, let's just get back to the staff here one more time. Another thing that if you're really not in this track and field culture, it's different. So my son, who ran here,
yes,
and he ran track and cross country, but he's a distance runner.
Yes.
So even me, with my son being on that team all those years, I don't think I quite understand how it's almost like herding cats because there's so many disciplines in track and field. So quickly walk us through that.
Yeah, so if you start, and we can start from the distance component, you have the fall cross-country season. And then from that, high mileage, 6K, 8K type track in cross, you then gravitate down into the indoor and outdoor track component where there's more elements, right? So those distance kids can run anywhere between the 400 meter, 800 meter, 1500/mile, 3K steeple, 5K, 10K, and then a couple relays just in the distance component alone. There's 21 events in track and field, right? So they cover a wide variety. You move over into the throws element. Obviously, we throw outside primarily, and then when you're outside, you have hammer, jab, discus, and shot put. But then when you take the throws component and move inside, you have weight toss, which is the indoor version of hammer, which is truly a completely different event, and then indoor shot put. When you move to pole vault I would say stays very consistent. Our athletes probably prefer being inside. And with the weather up here last year, they were only outside one time last year for outdoor, which was good for them and awkward for us in terms of transition. And then when you move into the sprint, jumps, hurdles component, if you start with outdoor, you have the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter dash, which we would participate in, the 100 hurdles, the 110 hurdles, the 4x1, the 4x4, long jump, triple jump, high jump. You slide inside, the real biggest change is the 100-meter races turn into 60-meter races, and then you just rinse, recycle, repeat. So it's a lot of moving parts for sure. It's a lot of coverage, and with the size of roster that we have, there's always something going on at one time. So all of us as coaches really need to do a really good job of focusing on our event areas, and then also be ready for a little damage control and just be able to assist and overlap with us a little bit.
So cross country in the fall, we're through that. We're now preparing for the indoor season. Here's just a weird question. I'm curious to see your answer. Is indoor, although there are meets and there is indoor championships, even in the NBC,
Yeah.
do you basically look at it that indoor, outdoor are kind of the same thing, so you just want to get better and it culminates at the end? Or are you focusing, we're indoor and we're focusing just on indoor and then we take care of outdoor? How does that go?
Yeah, I think the training cycle for each element is a little bit different, but very generally speaking, the fall portion for us, that early fall time during what would be the cross season and the beginning parts of track and field are so critical for us in terms of just base development of the body, trying to get the body balanced so we avoid injury, base learning of some techniques and just some general growth. And then as we switch kind of into now and into a competitive season, truly this December meet, this one that we're going to this Friday and then potentially next week, are our opportunity in the indoor component to really have our national level kids who have gone through a full training cycle to really put down some great performances and use that performance base and the training that we did to really do something great, right? We're going to qualify for conference championships. We're going to do a couple of things. If we pop a national mark, great. When we transition back from Christmas, and this is really what you're talking about in the indoor component, to me, that January to early April window is so critical. It is so important for us to take advantage of that training time. And we're so fortunate here to have the indoor facility that we have and some of the things that we do have. But that to me, although we want to be really aggressive and do well in the indoor cycle, that element is such a important training process, the technical side. When you can get competitive reps, and you know this, gameplay is different than practice play. So competitive meets for us versus practice reps for us are so important in the development of that athlete. That indoor component to me might be the most important segment we have over the whole year. We're able to grow in our technical side, kind of get the butterflies out with the early season. We can get a little bit of competition in us and then go to indoor championships like we did last year and have great success. Win the indoor title on the guys' side, come in second on the girls' side. Great job for us. But when we transition to outdoor, on the outdoor side of it, we're now starting our tapering, our peaking process, as you will. We're really starting to try to get our performance level to grow a little bit, and we're taking the volume down. And that's coming off of how the intensity was during the indoor. So that outdoor cycle for us is a little bit more fine-tuning, and we're just trying to see how fast and how great our athletes can go. So the fall component and the indoor season for me are the most critical seasons for us.
For the viewers out there, and Coach just alluded to this, West Liberty is coming off banner campaigns, indoor, outdoor, of the 4 championships men and women in the indoor, men and women in the outdoor. We had 3 seconds and a first,
Right.
including the first MEC championship in school history. What are your thoughts? Can we compete again for championships?
Yeah, I think both of our teams are in great spot. Barring any health issues that may come up unexpectedly, I think both teams will be in contention. I think our guys team, as the repeat champion of the indoor, are in a great spot this year. We have had a wonderful fall with them. I'm really interested to see what the men's team does this weekend. And I think they're going to push. Now, I don't know. I tell this to every recruit. I don't know if we're going to win, if we're going to come in second, or come in third. I just know that we're going to be good and we're not going to stink, right? We're not going to be a horrible team. We have enough talent that we're going to be in a competitive mindset. There are a couple of schools in our conference which we know about that do a really good job, and we think we'll go toe-to-toe with them on both genders. But as the repeat champion on the guys' side, we really like our chances this year. On our women's team, I think we'll be in that top 2 hunt again. And again, you never know. Game day, you never know. Things fall your way and things go really well. But I'm really excited for the talent level on both sides. And even more importantly, and you know this as a coach, their work ethic, their commitment to what we're doing, their buy-in, I guess we would call it, has been outstanding. So we're going to be successful. We're going to do a good job. How good? I'll let you know after this weekend. We'll have a good telltale this weekend, but we're going to be good.
Well, one thing, and this now is the former athletic director coming out of me, is how sometimes sports goes through cycles.
Yes.
And I think track is back.
Yeah.
Tracks are expensive.
Yes.
I think across the country, schools had dropped it at the Division I level, and it was teetering just a touch.
Sure.
But I think track is back. Wrestling went through the same thing.
Yes.
I think wrestling started to die. It is back. And when the West Liberties of the world now become a player, we force other schools to step up.
Sure.
And it kind of has a ricochet effect. It's Charleston, and now it's West Liberty, and then it's going to be somebody else, and the ball's bouncing around. So kudos to Coach Simpson. You were on that staff, now you and your staff, that this is something that we are really looking forward to. You bring great pride. Let's finish it up. You have a roster of 80-some people. If we went into 21 different events, this show would be 2 hours long.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe just focus on, and we can do this again and talk about others, but maybe some returning champions. Just who off the top of your head do you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. If I start on the men's team, we have to start with Reese Burnside. I mean, he was a national level pole vaulter last year, took top 15 in the country last year, returning to us in his junior campaign. Looks great, has had a really productive fall for us. So we're excited to see not only him as the 4-time champion of pole vault. I don't think he's lost yet, but more so where he needs to be on the national level. And that's something that's new for us. Kelsey Hewitt did it, Liam and Reese now, and Reese being one of the returners for us. We're really excited to see how high he can go and how far he can go on the national level for sure in pole vault. I would say also Makai Anderson in the hurdles. Just missed out on going to the Nationals last year. They take 20. He finished 23rd in his junior campaign. Really is in the best place he's been in at this point in time in the season. He's a defending champ in the hurdles, so we're really excited about him. On the throws component, Josh Francher as a sophomore, man, he had a great freshman campaign. We look for him to do some really big things across the board, indoor and outdoor. On the female side, obviously Kennedy Martin on the throws component. She's the top thrower in the conference. She's an absolute stud in her senior campaign, looking for her to do really good things. Kaylee Savage as well on the throws component for us. We're returning the number 1 and number 2 high jumper on the female side, Mara Pendergrass and Jayla Walker. Both of them are fighting through a few little nicks and bruises, so we'll see what their season comes up with. And then we have, Sierra Lanham in the sprints and jumps component. I mean, she's a national level jumper for us in her sophomore year. So, and we really, and not to talk about freshmen because you never know, but we really like the work that our freshman class is putting in and a number of other kids. So we really are excited for the roster as a whole and really proud of the senior leadership through this transition. But like I said before, we're pretty talented. We don't stink, and we'll just see how we go. I don't know how good we'll be. We just know that we're going to show up each day. We're going to work harder. We're going to see where these things fall.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us inside Hilltopper Athletics today. Coach Jason Falvo, head men and women's track cross country coach. Coach, good luck on the upcoming season. Make us proud, and we'll get you on here again soon.
Thank you much. Thanks for having me.